child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more.
Hello, and welcome to ign-arena.
Welcome to the saddest episode of all time.
That intro is so sad.
That was the Curse of the Sad Mummy, which is off of the League of Legends music thing that they put out.
Okay. Is it just the game's soundtrack?
No.
Okay, so
it's a couple different things. It's I think there's a song from the Pinnacles, which is their in-universe metal band that Sona and Mordekaiser
that's awesome.
and a couple different people are in. So there's a couple of things from that. There's Get Jinxed, which was the Jinx song they did a while back, and a couple in-game stuff as well. But along with that, they put out Frequencies. This is what Riot put out. It was done externally, I think, actually, looking at some people who worked on it. But it was a documentary about the music. It's 46 minutes long. And if you're into creative people talking about music and creation and collaboration, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's sort of an unprecedented look behind the scenes of League of Legends, which is something you don't really get a lot. You're making some kung fu.
But before we do that,
Whoa.
let's introduce
Who
ourselves.
are you people?
Hi, I'm James Faulkner.
Hi, I'm Brian Albert, everyone.
I'm a very sad Miranda Sanchez.
Oh my God! I guess we're gonna get to
Everyone,
that.
come on.
I'm pretty sad too. That Amumu video made me really sad.
Oh,
I
man.
got something in both of my eyes. Oh, I'm Kyle O'Connor. Yeah, that's me. Hi.
I'm Mitch Dyer, and I'm not terribly upset about anything today.
It made me really sad. I watched that video, and the rest of the day, I was like, God, I really want to go play Amumu.
He just wants a friend.
I know. And he can't get a friend because he kills everyone when he gets friends.
What is the CG thing? It's the Curse of the Mummy, the Curse of the Sad Mummy.
Yeah.
I didn't see this. What is it?
It's a music video, and so they talk about it actually in Frequencies, that it's not a business thing for them. It's purely they wanted to make something for the fans, and Amumu is one of the original characters.
Well, when you're right, and you have basically infinite money, you can do that. You can do something hey, we don't care about
Where
this
do
money.
we put this money?
Let's just give people.
I'm tired of
something that's
sleeping on all this money. Can we please put it into something?
How's your throne of cash, Leah B? Unless you come back.
But yeah, and they work together, and you'll see part of the process of them making it in the documentary. But it's just it's something for the fans. And Amumu was an original character that was the concept of him was around about 2 years before the game was out.
So wait, was he's in the game now, right?
Yes, he's been from the very beginning.
Okay, he was okay. That's awesome. So he's legit old school League of Legends.
And they wanted to do something rather than something for Jinx, who was a brand new character.
Got it.
They wanted to do something that was in universe and cool and lore building that was not totally brand new.
Right, so League's new lore is just so good. Especially all the videos they've been putting out. Such high quality, great music.
So is the lore good, or is it just the production on these videos is cool?
Yes, I think all of the above.
Okay.
Yeah,
I vaguely understand some of the Shurima stuff.
I'm a firm believer that Riot needs to just suck it up and make an animation department that just makes shows.
Yeah.
Where they just do and partner with Netflix or something and just do 20-minute videos and you just explore the lore around League of Legends. I think that would do amazingly and it'd be really interesting, especially given the quality of everything they put out so far. The Heart of Dawn, was that the cinematic where they had the team fight? Or
that was basically look,
a new dawn.
A new dawn.
Yeah,
sorry.
That was basically a new launch trailer kind of thing.
Yeah, it was so damn good.
Those were done by Blur, so that's an external studio.
Yes.
So
still good.
Yeah, and Riot honestly has the money to contract Blur to do a bunch of stuff, but
but Blur's expensive. They're $1 million a minute or something. It's crazy.
yeah, but they do great stuff.
Sure.
So I recommend go watch it. It's on there again. It's
Frequencies.
free.
It's free on YouTube.
Yep, and go watch the music video because that is also very well done.
All right, I'll go watch both of these things.
Made me really sad. I want Braum to be Amumu's friend.
Yeah.
Brian's yes, those are words.
Yeah. I know, Brom.
Whatever, you've been playing
good.
some League.
I have. Are we jumping into that already?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
let's
do
talk
it.
about that.
Yeah, okay, let's make it happen.
Tell me,
I'm
Brian.
playing some League now.
Yeah.
And you're in. You're not I'm definitely you're in.
Yeah, the thing I thought I would hate the most turned out to be the thing I'm enjoying the most, which is in Dota, if I want to actually learn something new at the point I'm at, it takes a really long time.
Yep.
It's you have to get better at rotating and smoke ganking early. Okay, well that's hard and requires a lot of coordination, and as much as I enjoy it, progress is slow. And in League, it's okay, I unlocked ARAM, which is the point where I was yes.
Finally.
That should not be locked at the beginning. I don't like that
agree.
at all. But now I'll play a new champ, and I'll be oh, you can do this. Like, I played Azir, and you can make these illusions and, like, rush them on people and then block their retreat with this sand wall, and you can, like, figure out combos. And then, like, after I play them a few times for ARAM, like, on the next morning on the train, I'll, like, I have this app, and I'll, like,
You're
read their skills and
researching,
stuff.
yep.
And it's like, okay, I want to remember them.
Remember-
Like, progress is coming really quickly.
You came over to my desk and we were talking for a little bit about League, and we were talking about people with dashes, and then I showed you that Lee Sin highlight video
Oh
of
my
that dude,
gosh.
and that guy was amazing. Do you remember it? Like,
Yeah.
you
He just kicks everybody.
Yeah, you asked, you're like, hey, is there anyone who's really good at tower diving? I was like, oh, I gotta show you Lee
Yeah.
Sin.
Because that's one thing I'm noticing is that towers are like, brutal. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, can you even
They
tower
will
dive in this
destroy
game?
you.
Does
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's because their damage compounds, so the first hit doesn't hit you as hard, and the next one will hit you twice as hard, and then so on and so forth.
Right.
And that comes down to, like, you start doing things like you do aggro juggling, where
Yeah.
like you make sure that people are, like, taking the damage and then, like, trading off hits so that you're not taking as much damage. Again, but yeah, like, we were playing, and it's like we talked about the aspect of learning something again and learning a new MOBA is so.
GarageBand just stopped. I just marked a timer. We can just grab the audio from the camera, yeah?
Yeah, my bad.
We've done it before.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
cool.
fine.
Whoops.
Whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, it was it's the product of learning, and that that drive is something that's very powerful.
Yeah, it's like every time I play, it's like I have this new person to play. And some of the old champs are so boring. Like, I played Tarek.
Oh, Tarek? Yeah.
I was like, what?
He's
I
long.
thought you said Derek, and I'm like, yeah,
Good old Derek.
classic Derek. Of course he's boring.
He has like some armor and like a
stun. Yeah,
stun and a heal,
That's
and
why
it's
I'm
just
hesitant to buy any of the heroes that I can afford right now. Like, I have enough IP that I can buy stuff,
Me too.
but it's all really old stuff.
I'm
Like,
tempted to buy
same.
them, like the ones that are 450, right? The cheap ones.
Yeah, and it's like I would kind of like to play that guy, but I don't really know anything about him, and he's old and probably needs a rework.
That's the thing that's interesting to me is there's no character in Dota I've played that I think is boring,
Yeah.
and I actually found a boring character. Maybe I played him once. It's hard. It's
Sure,
weird to
yeah,
say.
yeah.
that.
Tarek is a strong choice, though. That he's like widely regarded as a need
Are, like,
for
the-
a rework.
Are a bunch of the old champs kind of like that? Like they just
Not-
don't stack up anymore.
A
or what?
few, but they have a list like that they've shown externally that, like, hey, these are the people that we think
Yeah.
we need to work on because
Okay.
they don't fit with the meta anymore,
Yeah.
or don't fit with the play style of the game anymore.
The only hero I can think of in Dota that I think is boring, but I still like playing him a lot, is Wraith King.
I think Crystal Maiden's super boring.
Oh god,
don't
I
like
just
her.
love pulling. She's capable of pulling off so much stuff.
She can
though.
do stuff, but I just don't like her.
I'm kind of with you like that with Lion. Like, he pulls
Yeah.
and Jakiro. Both of those are amazing
There's a
heroes.
dude straight up just called Lion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not a lion.
not a
He's
lion.
basically
He's like a
Oh, what
cat.
the twist?
He's like a cat.
Cat
from
man.
hell.
he's kind of like a Hellcat man.
I've been to
sort of.
hell
like a
and
laser
back
finger.
and hell
Back
again and
back
hell
to
and
hell
hell
and-
Yeah, he goes to hell and back frequently.
Okay.
That's his thing.
And back-
That's kind of what he does.
It's his thing.
If someone picks him in a game, we all just start saying that, and it's like, we've been to hell
Yeah.
and
Also,
back.
as you're clicking, he just has like, idle
Banter.
Just chat.
banter, and he goes like, "Where's the fight?" And so we always do, "Where's the fight?"
Dunkmaster Darius has some really funny ones too.
Wait, do they re-record dialogue for skins?
I know Dunkmaster Darius has specific ones.
That's
I don't
great.
know
Yes,
they
about
do.
all of them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah. Anyway, in League, I'm every time I play a champ and kind of like it, I will like mark it down. I have this stock of like, okay, I'm gonna play. I've played like
Play
12
this guy.
heroes or
Yeah.
champs so far.
Man, you have so many Dota docs and stuff.
I got so many. I got too much. I haven't spent money yet. I'm not there. I don't care about the lore yet. But I'm having fun with it, and
So-
I want to play ARAM all the time.
Yeah,
That's
the
interesting
skins.
because
Ugh.
like I've been of the mind lately that I'm playing League, but it's really hard for me to get into it, and I like playing it casually, but I've wondered like, am I just too late? You don't feel like it's too late to learn and play League of Legends?
No.
Regardless of your Dota history, like if you were coming into this fresh, like you don't feel like it's too late? Because I feel like I've missed so much.
No.
Yeah, you'll never have the like if we're in our Dota chat and we're talking, like Rupli can be like, oh, that character used to have this crazy thing in the meta with this other character. Like,
Yeah.
you'll never probably never have that kind of context and
Sure.
depth of knowledge. But as far as like getting competitive, I don't think I'm behind at all.
And
We had some strong games, and you,
you
guys
also-
are relatively new.
Yeah, well, you also have the advantage of like understanding the philosophy of MOBAs and knowing certain heroes and like these guys being able to say, oh, this guy's like Phantom Assassin and does this.
Yeah, like if I came into it fresh, I would probably feel super overwhelmed. But there's a
think
lot of
any
carryover
MOBA,
from
though.
Dota.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
and like in League was my first MOBA, and it was confusing at the beginning, but like again, playing with you last night, it was so easy to explain things because I could either relate it to Dota or I could just it's a concept that you know of like like
it's a stun, but
yeah, but it was even like we're playing ARAM. It's not about that game is not about fighting. It's about like pretending to fight. It's the face off.
poking and baiting them out.
Yeah, but just but like being like it's basically it's like a stare down. It's the Mexican standoff of game modes and being able to explain that to you like that's how I got really good at it, or at least in understanding when people are actually coming in is because you play that mode a lot and you're like that's the signal because like they're overcommitting by like however many units.
Yep.
I'm still in that process, and I might have talked about this before, but I'm still in that phase of like learning League of Legends, and you're doing it now, but I find that just impossibly difficult. It is so hard to go from okay, I've learned enough about Dota that I feel comfortable playing it, and I feel confident. To go back to a different game and go through that whole process again is overwhelming.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's daunting, definitely. But there's a second tutorial that they don't make you play. I don't even know if you have to play the first one, but I did.
I don't even.
The one that's on the ARAM map is like the first tutorial where you're Ashe.
Never played it.
But there's a second one where you're actually on Summoner's Rift and they teach you like here's red buff and blue buff and like these camps and you
I
can
should
like
probably
smite
play
them
that.
and it gives you stuff.
That's
and,
cool because
yeah.
I've heard that terminology
new.
right, and I just didn't
I think it
really.
is.
That sounds new.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah,
It's
I might do
super
that
useful.
then.
Worked out
Because
like-
the other night we were playing, and I was like, "Oh, is this red camp?" And you're like, "No, this one's blue," and like over there is red. And I was like, "Okay, what does blue do?" I think red is strength or like damage. You're like, "No, okay, okay, don't worry about it."
That was also
I'm jungle.
that was also a stressful game.
Yeah, you were tearing it up though.
that was a fun Rengar game. Like that was a that was a fun Rengar game. I'll just put it there. So we've been in podcasting a while, and so we've missed 2 patches.
Okay, where are we at now?
I'm going to talk about just 5.2. 5.1 was a lot of the stuff they had been going over in preseason, and then so that stuff is kind of old. The stuff that is in this new one is they reworked Tristana, both in her visual and her kit.
She's got the rocket, right?
Yeah, she's the ADC that she can.
Wait, are you talking about Jinx's rocket that she can fire across the map? Okay, cool.
They made AP Tristana less viable, which is I don't care.
I don't know enough to contribute to this yet.
Yeah.
I'm interested, but I cannot.
AP.
AP.
I don't know what that means.
Attack power, dog, right?
Yeah, so-
or
so-
ability power. And then
Yes.
there's attack damage.
Yep, there we go.
So you'll see less of her mid, and then they changed up her W, so which now interacts with her E as well, which is her E is brand new. So it puts a grenade on someone, and after a certain amount of seconds, it detonates. And so basically, the more times you attack, the more stacks you build up, and then you can detonate it by jumping on them. By like basically the stacks on it. That's basically how it works. I'm not going to go into the actual mechanical details because it's too long to read. The other huge change is that they removed DFG from the game.
Yeah, that's huge.
Like that's massive.
Massive. So many really, really powerful
What?
mid characters.
We have the same question.
Deathfire Grasp. It was a item where you activated it and then it did 15% of your maximum HP or your current HP. I forget exactly which one. And then it amplified the damage of any AP damage done to them over the next 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So the purpose of it was, and this isn't them explaining it, was to burst down tanks. So like that mages would have utility in terms of like, okay, there's a front lane tank. Like how do I do it? You use that, and it amplifies your damage. What people just ended up doing was using it to burst people, the squishies
Yeah,
even
it's
harder.
just
There's
Cross the
nothing about it
support.
that's limited to tanks in any way.
No, it's just.
Oh, that seems really weird
Yeah.
to me.
Is there an item that you could buy to be resistant to that at all? Like a lot of items in Dota are rock paper scissors-y.
Zonias. If someone you know has a Deathfire Grasp charge and it has a visual effect. So if you saw it coming, you could Zonias, and that you can't take any damage while you're in Zonias. You're just like a frozen statue. But they just removed it because they felt like they gave them opportunity to buff champions in a way that like where they don't have to balance around that anymore. And so that they gave some buffs to Ahri and to make, which I know you're excited
Yay.
about, which makes her basically faster as she throws out her Q. So she's like just she's already very mobile. But
Yeah.
Super mobile. Now
like she
she's
needed
more
the
mobile.
extra mobility, but
with that she got like a massive that was a core item on her. Like you had to build
Yep.
that.
and her and Annie both were
Yes.
very dependent on Deathfire Grasp.
Yes, and like Vagar as well. That's a big thing. Annie got some changes. They shifted. You can now Tibbers gets a shield now as well.
Oh, from the tower?
Oh no, from your E.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's crazy.
they reduced the armor and magic resistant bonus by a little bit, and then shifted some of it onto. So whenever Annie has it, Temperature will have it as well,
Okay, cool.
which is kind of cool.
Bear shields is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bear shield.
Okay.
Bear shields.
Some changes again to Fizz as well, because he also relied on Deathfire Grasp. Nidalee, which is very cool. They changed it, so now this is a passive thing where she can now hunt, which is one of her passive jungle minions, which will make her a better jungler because people were starting to run her, and they're like, oh, that is a viable thing, so they gave her a buff for that.
That's cool. Nidalee in the jungle makes a lot of sense,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
She's annoying.
She's really annoying. Yeah, yeah.
Those arrows.
They used to be a lot worse.
Yeah, they
Spears,
used to be
yeah.
like
Oh,
the
yeah,
spears
the
would
spears,
just
yeah, they go straight at you.
chunk you.
It used
Yeah.
to be so
Like
bad.
probably 3/4 of your health's gone.
And then you're
Okay.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just a cat.
and,
Right?
she, and she can throw them
running
like
around.
every 4 seconds.
Yeah.
They're-
Yep.
It was brutal.
But they're not very fast moving, but they still suck.
Yeah, I still
and
think-
chasing her down is terrible.
Yes.
Especially because when you chase her down, you end up running in a semi-straight line, and then she starts throwing spears at
turns
you
around,
as she's
throws
running.
spears, you're dead. Yeah.
Let's
It's fun
see.
to play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at you. Give it a
They're
try.
all ARAM. She's not one of the free ones right now, I don't think.
Okay.
Let's see. Some changes to I don't know how to pronounce it. I never said it out loud. Zrot. Zrot portal. That was this item. Basically, you could plant it and it sends out little minions and they'll attack
Yeah.
the towers and stuff. It was a cool like support pushing item. It had some bugs and so they've been working on it. And they've been like, it's funny because the little bugs that come out and they're like, we're fixing the bugs.
The bugs and the bugs.
It's like the Necro
Yeah.
book of League. Is that the same thing?
No, because you have to you place it and then like it's something that like basically creates a structure that has health and everything that you can destroy.
Okay.
So it's like
Zombie house.
Zombie house.
Yeah, except for pushes towers.
That's awesome.
Nemesis draft is coming soon, which is where you can draft.
God, it sounds so
I'm gonna
great.
play so much of that.
Let's play.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm super down.
We'll probably never be high enough level to play it.
Brian might.
Rip.
Brian, I'll buy you an
Let's
XP
try.
boost.
You can do that?
Yeah.
They took me out of Dota, and I miss them.
I know.
Yep.
Rest in
Um,
peace, battle points.
Everything else is like won't affect us, or it's like ranked team decay for challenger and master, which again.
Oh, yeah.
will affect a
yeah,
huge
yeah.
portion of their.
Damn, I'm gonna write that down because that matters to me. Yeah, I'm not a challenger or a master.
Yeah, and there's just some small tweaks. And then 4 new skins: Arclight, Vel'Koz, Warring Kingdoms, Katarina, Warring Kingdoms, Nidalee, and then Firecracker Jinx, which looks incredible.
Firecracker Jinx looks awesome.
Yeah,
There's actually
Show me. Oh my God.
yeah,
Oh,
Firecracker.
that's awesome. It's like a Chinese New Year theme.
Yeah,
Yep.
all
That's
of
great.
them are.
Oh, cool.
Have you seen the new thematic
Bloom
ones
themed,
that
I'd
just
say.
got announced recently? Marauder and Inquisitor.
Yes, those.
Oh
look,
my God.
Yeah, they basically look like very gothic armor, but for like Ash and stuff like that. So there's like spiky armor, and
Yeah.
everything. It looks really dope.
Inquisitor looks like a paladin. If
Yeah.
like you can think of paladin armor from anything. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
So yeah, they're. Oh my God!
Don't
easy.
throw your MacBook on the ground.
Yeah.
I spilled water on my personal one. That was fun.
I know.
I got my laptop stolen.
Y'all are disastrous.
Yes.
I know, that was so bad.
My cat spilled beer on my laptop once,
Oh, stupid cat.
and then it was dead.
My tech is just fine. What is wrong with you
Mine's
guys?
fun, yeah. I take care of my personal belongings.
Yeah, there's
I'm gonna get robbed tonight. They're gonna pour water on it just to show me.
Just in front of your face. Like,
yeah.
LCS also started. We'll talk about that in a later podcast. We are doing a fantasy league again this year.
Yep.
But we'll talk about that next week.
Okay. I don't even know who I drafted because I was in Sweden.
Good job, everybody.
Go team.
Yay.
I'm doing pretty well
Mine's
Yeah,
terrible.
you, yeah, you were. You have a good team.
now. Yeah. Well, my team's strong. It's just C9 didn't really show up the first 2 games.
Yeah, we'll talk about this.
I know, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But
Off topic,
because I want to see this week, and then I think I'm gonna make my judgments on teams because
Yeah.
first week was interesting.
I'm a
That's
big
all.
C9 fanboy, so
Yeah.
let's go ahead and skip.
Brian Albert, the people have been asking
Oh yes.
for many moons about Smite.
That's a game. I've heard of it.
I've been playing a lot more of it on PC. You played it on Xbox One,
Yep.
and you went to the Smite World
So
Championship.
fancy.
You fancy?
It is fancy.
Tell
I'm
me,
fancy.
tell me things.
About the Xbox One version?
Yeah, I want to know about that game on console. Mostly, like, my big question is how do you use a shop in that game? Like, how do you navigate a shop in a console?
That's funny to bring that up because when I was talking to the developers, they're like, we've gone through this so many times to like try to make. If you think about how you play a MOBA, usually you're on a PC monitor, you're 2 feet away from it. Like it's okay if the shop has like 70 icons
Yes.
on it that are small. Like it's a little disorganized, but you get it eventually.
And some of them have search bars where you can be like, just put in the
Smite,
name.
Right.
Smite actually has my favorite shop scheme ever. I don't know if you're going to touch on
On
it, but
PC.
like, yeah, on PC, like how you can predefine the build order you want in your items.
Oh, so you can set a build that you want to.
I'm sorry
so
if
if-
I headed you off on what
No,
you were
that's
going to say.
totally fine.
No, that's really interesting because if you decide like I want to build crit this game, you just go I want the crit build. And
Yeah,
it auto builds it.
Yeah, you can let them know like these are the series of items I want.
Oh, so like when you go back to base, it will auto purchase items.
Yeah.
Whoa,
That's really
that's
cool.
cool.
That takes care of that problem.
I don't know if that's in the console one. It probably is, but
I've played
It's-
Smite a few times, and
I played what's gonna be like the beta stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't see that.
yeah.
But it was just a bunch of like I don't know how to explain it, just like drop down menus. You just went to like attack and like pop down, and there was like a bunch of items in there.
Was it? I haven't seen it. So is it kind of like the Minecraft menu of like where you can drill over to like certain things and then the Minecraft on?
Yeah,
Is it
I
like
know
more
what
of
you're
a
talking
tabbed
about.
Sort
Yeah.
of thing that drops down when you are on it.
It's huge. Like it takes up like half of your screen, but you'd only really open it when you're back at.
It sounds like you're describing Arma right now.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about like
Yeah.
user interface. Just
Yeah.
Hey,
What about
If
the-
you're not
what
a
about the-
designer,
yeah.
it's like there are some boxes
Yep.
in some places.
What about the gameplay?
Well, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I want to talk about is that you're like MOBA on console. How does that work?
Really well because
it
Monday
does.
Night Combat worked really well.
Yeah.
Because the third person over the shoulder, which is sort of, I don't want to say it's gimmick, like that's not the right word, but that's its thing, right?
Signature.
That's what's gonna save it on
Good word.
on consoles.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, back in November, we talked about how stoked we were about Smite and how well it would translate to a console because it was third person.
Yeah, right. When you, first of all, just about like impressions alone, when you look at it, you're not repelled. Like if you just summon a MOBA, they're like, what?
Yeah.
You're clicking. What?
I need an adult.
Like
And
it
it's
looks like a
play aloud.
third-person action game,
Yeah.
but with like some tweaks.
Yep.
I think first of all, people are going to check it out because of that.
Yeah.
But it feels super great to play, like movement with a stick, and then aiming with the right stick.
Is it like horizontal?
It's only horizontal aiming. There's a slight
Okay.
bit of up and down for range spells,
Yeah,
but
it's-
it's like
yeah.
a tiny little bit.
That's
it
all
feels
it is
sort of
on
like
PC as well.
Doom, yeah.
Depth.
Yeah, it's like a Z-axis thing where you're like, I'm gonna go a little farther
Right.
forward
Apparently
with this
they-
like leap slam thing.
When they first started working on Smite, because they worked on Tribes Ascend, they're like, oh, we'll just do like full like shooter range of motion sort of thing. But they're like, that's too twitchy, so they cut it down to what it is now.
Yeah.
But it's the buttons, the abilities, your four like QWR or whatever. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 in Smite. Those are just face buttons now, and you can press those while moving. And like to do that on the keyboard is actually kind of tough. Like using like WASD to move and then going up to 1, 2, 4.
I have a
those-
concern. Everything in Smite is a skill shot, even your right clicks.
Yes.
So how do you aim and use a skill effectively?
Well, left stick is movement, right stick's aim.
It's the same thing as in like as Halo. Like if you want to jump, jumping is a huge part of Halo. Like you
Yeah.
have to take your finger off of aiming.
Yeah.
To jump.
That's why you use bumper
I
jumper.
use
No,
You can do bumper jumper.
Savagery.
I actually, if I need, I switch to claw.
Oh.
You're both despicable.
Bumper jumper.
Claw on Smite is probably going to go really well.
I bet it does.
Can you remap all the buttons? You didn't
again,
see that?
This is
Okay.
like
Okay.
beta. Like here's 2 matches of it. Sort
Okay,
of thing.
cool.
That's concerning.
It
to me.
looks really
It
good
felt-
too.
I didn't have a problem hitting anything, but again, I
Okay.
switched to claw like just if I need to because I used to play it that way for Halo. No, it looks great. They told me it's running at like the same like quality
Visual
as the PC.
fidelity, yeah.
Visual fidelity.
I got you.
It's gonna keep parity with the PC version, so it's not going to hopefully not become like the little brother or like
Like Minecraft.
Counter Strike
Minecraft.
Yeah.
on consoles or Team Fortress on consoles
Yeah.
like that. It'll be about a month behind.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
Yeah, no,
There's
it's fine.
Warframe. I think is a really good example of something that has kept parity pretty well.
Yeah.
They haven't had it at exact parity, but they've been keeping it up to date. And I know enough people who play that who are like, yeah, Warframe on like PS3 and I think it's on PS4 maybe.
Yeah.
Is awesome. So I have no expectation that they can hit that.
Yeah, and I
Different
hope it
studios,
does
by the
well. I want MOBAs on consoles.
Yes.
I think
man.
this is going to be the one. This is going to be what's going to take off on a console.
I hope so. We put up the first 2 minutes of gameplay ever seen on the Xbox One, and it did super well
I
for us. People
promoted
cared.
out of
Yeah,
that thing. Sorry, I cussed.
everyone was after it.
Timestamp for the editor.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing that was really impressive is I just didn't know that it's the third largest MOBA out there as far as like the registered users.
Player
Like it's
base.
behind Dota,
Yep.
which is really impressive. And it's funny, they're super self-aware about it. They'll sell foam fingers that say we're number 3.
Is the
Yeah.
foam finger
That's
like
good.
3 fingers up though?
I didn't get to see one.
It'd be funny
I just
if it was
told
in
Oh,
the middle.
you heard tell.
I heard
there
it.
were whispers through
Yes.
the.
I didn't hit up the
Gotcha.
merch.
Yeah, we'll have to have Alfredo on sometime because he's been playing a ton
Alfredo
of.
has really fallen into the Smite hole.
Yeah, he has.
Him
He's
and
been super in it.
him and Hunter.
Hunter's playing a ton. I told Fredo like I want to play more at home, like in my free time. Like I'm playing a little bit at the office just to learn it, because I'm eventually going to review it on consoles, and I want to have a profile with some substance and to learn the heroes and then transfer all of that over to Xbox eventually.
We should talk about that. The fact
I
that
gotta point something out. Yeah. First of all,
Yes.
You first.
you have to buy. They're called gods in this game.
Yeah.
You have to buy them, sort of like League's system. There's free champs on rotation, but you can buy all existing gods and any gods that are coming out in the future for $30.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was on sale and I bought them all for
What?
20.
Yeah.
If you think of like what it would cost to buy every champ in League, I mean, again, League is bigger and more supported or whatever, but like it's still like.
That's
And then it
really
also
awesome.
transfers. All that transfers to Xbox One.
They haven't said specifics, but they're like, yes, there'll be a one-time transfer of like content in progress, but like they didn't say exactly.
It's got to be a
this
profile thing. Like the state of your profile when you say I complete transaction, transfer my stuff. That's where it has to split because
Right.
it's not connected. And if the PC version is going to be ahead, then it's going to port all of that stuff back. And on Xbox, you're going to be like, okay, I'm level 30 and I've got 25 gods. And on PC, I play a lot more, so I keep unlocking stuff. You're probably not going to be able to transfer.
It's
all
not
that
going to
again.
keep going. It's not going to stay
Right.
linked like that.
It's not gonna
So,
But if you're like me
continuous.
and you have every god, hopefully that means I just transfer that over and forever I have everything.
if that pack.
I hope so.
I don't know. Again, details coming.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can still sign up for the beta. You could for the longest time. I should probably check that. But the open beta is coming soon on
Very
Xbox
I'm
soon.
One.
gonna play so much of that. It might even take me from League.
Whoa.
That's a very
That's
serious
serious.
state. Yeah, I would. If it's gonna be as fun, because I like it on the computer. Right now, my computer doesn't run it well enough for me to enjoy playing it. Like it runs it well, but I'm like I'm not. I want it to run better. But when it comes to the Xbox One, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna stream it, and it might take me from League.
Thank you for pointing that out
Oh,
because that was
streaming.
Yeah,
That's gonna be good.
yeah.
Streaming Smite.
Streaming Smite from the Xbox One is gonna be really easy.
It's gonna be just Twitch.
That'll
Yo,
make
what's
that
up?
game
Mhm.
blow up.
That game, as of now, I mean, again, it was in beta, but when it's like 5v5, everyone's all together team fighting. It kind of slows down.
Oh, it does on the
Yeah.
Xbox.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and we're months out from the eventual
Sure. Yeah.
release,
Yeah.
but that was just one thing I noticed. Like, especially in the mode, there's like the circular. I think it's called Arena.
Arena.
That
Jousting?
the
I
Arena
played
is
some
just
Joust.
the
Joust
5-on-5.
runs really well because it's
3v3.
1v1 or 3v3.
I just like all their other modes too. Their modes are really fun.
Yep.
Like
The 4v4 conquest thing sounds
Yeah.
cool.
there's one thing I didn't like about Smite was like in League, and I'm assuming it's true in Dota. Like people can telegraph what they're gonna do a lot. Like you can like on League, you're like, oh, Jinx is stopping and turning around because she's gonna blast me with her ult, or her zapper
have to
leaves a
wind
line. But in Smite, it's like there's not much telegraphing. It's just
I
like,
don't think you can cancel.
I don't think so either. There's a lot of moving and dodging, like just physical, actually move the stick and get
Yeah,
out of the
because
way
you
of
have
the
to be
thing.
aware of your surroundings. Because if
Well, yeah.
Brian comes through the jungle and ganks me from behind, I'm not going to see him.
Yeah.
If I'm in League or Dota, I'm going to see the character coming out from the woods.
Yeah.
Like on the map.
Right, like
or-
top-down view, yeah.
Yeah. And when they come out of the fog, I'm going to see them.
And-
Brian could be directly behind me following me, and I would never know it.
And I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. It's just something I wasn't used to. Like, because I was playing and I just felt like all of a sudden and then I'd get ganked, and what the hell happened? Just 3 people swarmed me, and I had no chance.
They're also doing some fun things with like the character's abilities. There's I don't even remember his name, some crazy dragon fish man who's old. He can like fly way up into the sky
yeah,
and
yeah.
like
yeah.
see the whole battlefield, and then he can like blast down at some point onto someone.
Thor does that.
Yep.
Thanatos does that.
Who's got the chariot?
It would probably be Apollo.
Apollo? Yeah.
it'd
There's
have
just
to be
like
Apollo.
there's someone who has something sort of similar to like Ash's ult. The arrow just goes. I don't know if it's cross map, but it's a long time, and like as you hit ult, it like zooms in super
Oh,
slowly
no,
and
yeah.
close,
That's
and, like,
Neri, I can't remember her name.
she's like
I'm
kind
so
of
bad.
standard archer.
There's so
character.
many Smite people listening, like,
Yeah,
yeah. Just like flipping
She
tables.
looks like she's got some like Egyptian attire.
Yeah.
I don't remember their names.
I like the fact that like your basic attacks are skill shots, and
Yeah.
they're like the ranged attacks are skill shots.
Last
So
hitting is hard.
there's a huge skill gap, I'm going to assume, in this game, like between really, really high level players and like your average player.
So did you get to watch any of the WCS?
Yeah, I went to the first day of that.
SWC? Yeah,
Smite World
SWC.
Championship. Yeah. That's letters.
World Championship Smite.
DXT.
Again, I don't know enough to like know the teams or like the best players, but some of those early matches were absolute stomps, like not even close. But it was really great. I didn't get to go to TI3 for Dota, which was at Ben Arroyo. It's like this concert hall, but this felt like what I imagined that would feel like. It was like a little concert hall, like big event, like high production, but still felt
Like
like this was the
intimate?
start of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from what Smite's numbers are, and they're growing constantly, and their growth over the past year has been ridiculous. I think this game's gonna. It's weird to say, oh, this number 3 MOBA in the world is gonna be big, but like, I think it's going to.
I think it's
getting
gonna,
bigger.
Yeah, I think especially with this transition to console, it's going to really take off. Like,
Do you think it has a
skyrocket.
chance in hell? Like, if 2015 is going to be like Smite's year, does it have a chance to surpass Dota, which is currently trending at like 10.5 million per month?
I mean, it could. It's like,
Next-gen
If-
consoles
if-
have sold like crazy. It's free to play.
yep, it's free to play, and like, if you are kind of good at shooters or just like Twitch-based games,
That's going
not
to
that
Yeah.
MOBAs don't require dexterity,
No,
but
but
it
it's
just
going to be
looks
people
different.
like Alfredo.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
opposed to like strategy nuts like us who
Yep.
fall into it.
It looks like you can play it. It looks like you should not be scared of it.
That's
Which
huge.
League and Dota
That matters
cannot
a lot.
say. Yeah.
Very cool.
There's a game that I am a little bit afraid of playing more of, Miranda. That's
Yeah?
Chaos Heroes Online.
Woo!
That's a
That's
video
the
game you've been
game.
reviewing. We all played a little bit with you.
Thank you
didn't.
for playing with me, by the way.
I watched her
I
play
was able-
some.
Tell me a little bit about Chaos Heroes Online.
So, like Dota, Chaos Heroes Online came from Warcraft 3. It was a mod. I think it was like Dota Chaos or something when it was originally going. And now it's its own thing. Apparently, it's pretty big in Japan and Korea, and now we have it over here in the States.
Okay.
Uh,
The enthusiasm is infectious.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun with friends.
Most things
it's-
are fun with friends.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
usually.
So let me say the thing that makes it like why I think it's bad.
The most broken thing you can do in that
Yeah,
game.
the most dumb broken thing. And I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, like I don't understand it. I just think it's bad game design. You can recall at any time, and it's on a 3-minute cooldown, but you just stop taking damage, and they can't not stop you unless there is something that we have not discovered. They can't stop you from recalling.
Bubble
Right.
her thing
I
all the
think-
time.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way to stop that, but I never figured it out.
Yeah, like I couldn't. I
'Cause
I
I saw
stunned
in my-
somebody. I
Yeah,
tried to
I saw
silence.
it
or,
in my
I don't know.
profile that you can disrupt that. And it's like, how many disruptions have you had? It's like,
It must be hard to do a rare
Oh.
because it never really happened to me, and I couldn't figure out how to do
Sounds
it.
yeah,
like
no,
the
you're
worst.
just immune. Unless I read that wrong and it was
Yeah.
something different. I don't know.
But
But,
every 3 minutes, you were literally invincible.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't want to do this fight anymore. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, you brought up.
um,
Oh, sorry.
you can't get out of that if you're stunned, though. Like, you can't just recall whenever you're
Right,
stunned.
you
So
need
if
to
you
be in
are
a-
constantly taking damage and
But you could die to the back line, and if you're not stunned, you could just like spam the return key, and you're like, all right, I'm
Sure.
safe.
I don't think you can cancel out of that return, which is important
you
though.
cannot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you are committing
know
to
of.
it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you're like, oh, the team fight's bad. Oh, never mind. I need to stay and help. Like,
So
oh,
with that in mind, like, there's a lot of escape for team fights. Since you can buy items anywhere on the map, there's
Yeah.
like a ton of like items that can just keep you sustained during a team fight, which is
Interesting.
interesting. Like, there's pretty much a BKB that's like 100,
Cool. Okay.
100 coins.
Magic
not a lot.
Community.
Yeah.
Magic Community is a consumable, like cheap item.
Most stuff
Yes.
is. So is lifesteal.
Yeah,
Yes.
lifesteal is a potion.
But there's another item you can buy to dispel that. So
Right.
even if you
I
bought it,
forgot
you
about
can
that.
still take it off.
And you
So
can
there's
buy
a way
anywhere.
around it. Yeah.
If you just have money, you're like, oh, I got Magic Community right now. Boom.
So one thing I really liked is that Chaos Heroes Online is very fast. You have a 50-minute time limit, so you can't go past that. And if you happen to, the game ends before that, then it goes off some weird point system that really isn't displayed during the game.
Helpful.
So yeah, it's like, well, I mean, you can kind of guess who wins based on who has the most towers, most kills. They'll probably win. But those points aren't displayed anywhere that I found, which is kind of weird. But early game, instead of focusing on pushing, unless you all group up as 5 and have like a really good tank, you have more of a focus on jungling and ganking. Because your creeps don't do anything. They
Yep.
are the worst.
They're seriously weak. They don't
Yeah.
even absorb tower damage well
Like,
at all.
it's a little bit hard to get farm in the early game lane.
It's hard to last hit under towers too because they do so much damage.
They just take them out
Yeah.
so fast. So you have to rely on jungling, and there's like a meter on the right above the map, above the mini map, where you can kind of just see when they're back up. So it's kind of useful. And it's just a very different way to play.
When the fact that that meter exists, it kind of represents a problem, though, right? Because it's saying, listen, we understand the importance of jungling because this lane sucks, so we're going to give you a timer so you're aware always when you can go back and do that. To be out of lane and in a different place. I don't know. That seems like they're compensating in a way that is acknowledging a flaw.
Yeah, but I think it's also a thing of like it's a different style of MOBA where you're like, okay, we're gonna go jungle for a little bit, and then it's time to go push because all the jungles are gone. So like, if you're doing it efficiently, you should hit it around the same time.
Sure, like there's a lot of times when I would see I had to play against bots a lot because the community isn't super big for that yet. So most of my games were bot games.
That is super unfortunate.
It is, and it's kind of weird because there's an all chat in the main menu.
All chat of all players in the game.
Of all players.
So all 7 of you guys were talking?
Actually,
There's
yes, like all 7.
Usually. Or it could get more. I think you can leave the chat too, so I don't think that's representative of everybody who's playing at that moment. But he was like, "Hey, everybody, get in the EU server. We need 2 more people. Come on, please, just get in the EU server so we can all play together." So it's a weird atmosphere.
Okay.
We played some. We were looking for like the Dota analog characters, which we played a couple of, and there's some.
Ursa is the only one that matters.
Gerdaber.
He's just a big bear that rolls around and flops around and eats buildings.
His
and
ult
gets
is
big.
turned into a bigger bear.
Yeah.
which I love so much.
He becomes 3 times the bear and then eats buildings.
When I was playing him, I can't repeat what I was saying there, but I was screaming, "I'm an effing bear!"
That's all I did
the entire time.
I do that every time I play Earthshaker. I just roam, and every time I get a kill, I just all chat, "I'm a dog."
I was saying ridiculous stuff when we played League, and I was ganking with Darius. I was like, "You can't run from me." Darius is just too fun. Sorry, completely derailed it.
I like seeing a totally different style of play. Like in Dota, it's the thing, okay, you defend your towers. In League, your towers defend you is sort of that thing. And then in this, it's like split pushing just isn't a thing.
Nope, not at
like,
all.
Like, if you want to push, you need like a tank and tons of damage and like 5 people.
So the towers are
It's
like
a
raid
group
bosses.
effort.
Or one bear.
Or what's up?
Or one bear.
One bear.
Because the bear will eat that tower.
No,
There's
but
a-
he's
so
tank.
good.
He's intended for that.
Yeah.
There's like a tiny
Yeah.
equivalent who's like a rock
Crag.
man, and his ult is just like
Vomit rocks.
like he gets stronger, he hits harder, he has more armor, and like rocks just fly out of him and hit all things near him.
Like
There's no animation though. It's just like it's like a machine gun of rocks just targeting
So good.
targeting anything around him. And it's not like one streamer that's like, I'm gonna target this dude. It's just like rocks everywhere.
Maybe there are heroes that can like take towers down on their own efficiently, but like I didn't play any, didn't see any. Like it's like you're gonna be 5 and you're just gonna go.
There's a big emphasis on that, on the team fights and being together and communication. So,
Skins.
oh god. So the art is all over the place, and I hate it.
It's like a bear in armor, and he's like, "Oh, that's like Yorick from the Golden Compass, this big armor, cool bear guy." And also this lady with no clothes on.
So that's a lot of ladies with no clothes on.
Most of the ladies have no clothes on.
Also, like they'll take dudes and gender swap them and then give them no clothes.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, what character is this? Because I don't know anymore.
I'm old
And
enough
have-
now to where that annoys me. Where it's like all
very
these
annoying,
characters are
and
naked.
if there's
yeah.
no variety in that. Like, I'm okay with some busty characters, some like
Sure.
revealing clothing. That's fine. But when you don't have something else other than that, it's just bad.
Yep.
And it feels bad.
And we were talking about it. It's like it's specifically targeted. Like they know they're gonna sell more skins because those are the characters. Because you'll look at like some characters like, oh, this is a cool guy, and he has like 1 skin because he's a dude. And then it's like, oh, here's this skinny girl who has a sword or something.
35
30
bikinis.
skins. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how that's so imbalanced for like who gets the skin.
Where's this game from?
Korea,
I
right?
think it's made in Korea. So, and the skins.
It's
don't
very
make sense
pandery to the
either.
Asian markets for sure.
I wasn't gonna
So
say it.
another thing that doesn't make sense is that the skins look like anime people, but this is supposed to look like
I
Warcraft
saw like the
3.
chibi versions of these characters. It's so weird.
It's not even like chibi; it's like bobbleheads.
There's one dude that, yeah, that too. Good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
They look,
They're
you know,
bobbleheads.
they look like the vinyl pop figurines, like Funko Pop.
Yes.
Yeah, like their heads
yes,
are just
yes.
too big, but they're not cute. They just look weird. Look
This
like
is
bobbleheads. It's just
mutilated
like,
kill
what?
me people.
Kill me now.
I mean, there's some positives here and there. Like
Sure.
it is fun to play. I think it's easy to jump in and try different heroes. Like their skills are super easy to learn.
Yeah.
A lot of them are very right-click based. but it's fun to pepper in their abilities.
Sure.
What about the dragon?
The dragon, the guardian.
They're cool.
So there's these. Each base has a dragon that just like flies around and helps defend your towers.
What a
And
badass.
it's so cool.
Can you fight the dragon, or is it just
Yeah,
there?
you fight it. You
okay.
have to.
Oh my god. See
So-
that there's so many parts of it that are like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cool. Oh, you can like knock down trees at any time and carve new paths. Okay, cool. But in the end, it's like
It's annoying to look at. It's annoying to
Yeah.
listen to. The voice acting is
it's the
Yeah.
worst.
really bad. And there's some exceptions, but for the most part, it's just please stop.
Can I have a
Stop
complaint? Can I complain?
Yeah, complain.
When you recall back to your base, you're not in the fountain that
Oh my
heals
God,
you.
yeah.
You have to
Oh my
walk
God.
then into your fountain.
That is the worst.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like
you just
I'm
go to
not
like a
here.
house. You go
You're
home.
like you're like outside of it, and you're like, okay.
You're at your
Sounds like
Citadel.
Yeah.
sounds like a MOBA
weird.
designed by people who only kind of know about MOBAs.
Yeah, it's like why am I not? In the,
I still had
okay.
fun when playing it. But
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I was saying, like we played probably about 2 hours of it, and like we were having like a ton of fun. And again, but it's also us just hanging out. It's like that's fun.
Right.
But it's like I recommend it if you want something very a different take on Warcraft 3. But yeah, I don't feel like it's something that is going to stick around for
So-
very long.
There's another mode we didn't play together that I only got to play. It's called the Shrine of Life. So it's a
Mhm.
map. It's like a small square. There's a river that goes around it. There's a little island, and there's a guardian that's a giant tree dude who walks around, and he's a neutral. And I could never find enough people to play with, so it was just me and bots. And that was like the biggest mistake ever because the bots in this mode are like broken.
The AI is probably still programmed for like laning and stuff, and they're just
no,
like, where
no,
do I
not
go?
even. So there was one that would run out of the base and run back in, and the other four were in the top corner of the map, just sitting there in a bunch. I was
in
like,
the river, right?
yeah, they're in the river.
Yeah.
And so my bots wouldn't follow me in. They're just like kind of sitting doing their own thing. So I had to like sacrifice myself to make something happen. I was like, okay.
Right.
Well, I guess I'll just jump into these guys and maybe the game will start. So
Do you know what I think you guys? I think you told me this today. Is that you can break down trees by just right clicking on them.
you can, like
The-
click, yeah.
Yeah, and then you can get outside of the lane, and you can just like wrap around almost the entire map by just like going behind this tree line, and then
Yeah.
there's just nothing.
The edge of the map is just a
Just
line.
a void.
Yeah.
There's just like a black void.
Also,
Like,
it's amazing. Like, oh, I could carve a path through the trees and get a really great gank behind the tower. But the guy in lane is like watching trees fall down one by one. Like, what's going on over
yeah, or
there?
you can just go off the side of the map and just like walk over, come
Yeah.
back behind it because it's broken.
Yeah, great.
Like just lazy design.
That's unfortunate. Your review is gonna be live on IGN soon.
Soon.
Not
Yeah.
not enthusiastic.
It's unfortunate because there are some fun things about it.
Sure.
I do like that it's different. The pace is different.
Not something you'd recommend widely, I assume.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Should we get out of here?
Do you want to talk about the Witcher MOBA real quick?
Yeah, we can do that really quick. I reviewed The Witcher Battle Arena.
Mhm.
It is a iOS 3v3 MOBA, but similar to Chaos Heroes, has a lot of problems. They're very different problems, and it's problems that I think over time could be fixed. But as it stands now, like it's not a good game. I would not. It's free on iPad, but like play Vainglory, play Fates Forever, play better games on iOS. Play the Zynga MOBA that the name is
Solstice Arena.
Solstice Arena. The Witcher MOBA is cool in as much as it's like, here are these Witcher characters having cool skills, like wailing on each other. Great. So far, so good. But it's very deathmatch focused. It's not very strategic at all. There are objective points where you claim an objective as your own. It becomes your team's. It can be reclaimed by an enemy.
It's not a 3-lane map.
No,
It's
it's a big open space, and there are just 3 control points scattered throughout.
Hmm.
Typically, what happens is, groups wander into each other. The group with more people roaming together wins the fight, and from there, it just kind of snowballs, and everyone whoever loses the first fight basically loses the game, which in this game results in people quitting because there's no punishment for doing so, which means that you're just stuck in this game that you have to wait to finish.
And you can't find reliable friends who won't quit because
There's no friend system, there's no invite system, there's no connectivity with
What?
Game Center, there's no local play, there's no Wi-Fi to connect to other people. Like, there's no way right now for us to play together, and that is like the most offensive thing I can think of in
That's
a MOBA.
such a basic component of any game ever.
It's like,
Hey,
I'm
you're
so
playing a
disappointed.
social game where you interact with people. Maybe we should have some form of way to play together.
That's like an embarrassing oversight for this game to launch with. That's like not acceptable. Like, why would I ever want to play this? Especially given that Brian did the review commentary with me today. We were I was showing him the game, and lo and behold, connectivity issues that I talked about in my review popped up in the video. Like, we got disconnected, somebody else got disconnected, the game froze. While somebody's disconnected and it says, wait for the reconnection, you can just keep playing. It's like,
okay.
it is such a weird mess of a game, which sucks because it has so many cool little elements. Like, the economy is an RPG. You finish a game, and you get items, which is kind of your reward for not quitting. There's no punishment for quitting, but that's your reward for staying and playing, is you get an item. It's a random draw. Sometimes it might be like a dumb +1 speed thing. Sometimes it might be like, hey, this is an epic item that you can equip later once your character has the upgrades, like the character upgrades required to use these kinds of items, which gives you like, you know, plus 1.5% crit or whatever. All these different things that you can equip and make your character permanently better. And they're tied specifically to like, oh, this is a belt for Letho, or this is a glove for Yorvith.
So they are using the license at least slightly well.
Yeah, in that it has like interesting little RPG elements, and the characters are cool. The skins look awesome. They have like cosmetic weapons you can buy, some that are silly, some that are great, but there's some that just like look really badass and cool. But it's just not a game that I want to play right now. I think maybe in a few months it might be something that's acceptable and like passingly entertaining, but as it stands now, like just don't waste your time with the Witcher MOBA. The end.
All right.
Okay. Arena-podcast@ign.com is the email address. You can email us questions.
We have a Twitter too.
Oh, a Twitter,
We
right?
do have the Twitter
And
now.
Facebook.
IGN_arena.
Yes, sir.
You should follow that. We post all of our stuff up there. You can talk to all of us there. You can also follow Kyle at
Kyle.
Mitch at
Mitchie D.
Brian at
Albino Albert.
Miranda at
Havoc Groves.
and me at James_Faulkner.
Review us on iTunes. Subscribe on youtube.com/IGN-arena.
Yes.
Donate to charities and be good to one another.
Yeah, I was gonna say go to IGN to try to get some Here's of the Storm codes, but those are
gone.
Those are gone, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They were gone in half an hour.
Wow.
But we're going to play some of that.
We are going to play some of that next week, and we've been talking about doing like trying to play some more per week. I know we said that before, but now that there are games out that are new and that we would like to try, and there are beta codes for it, we will play some
Cool.
more.
Yeah, we should play some HOTS. We should play some Dead Island Epidemic.
Play
we
some
should
Han.
play some Han.
I'm waiting for it.
Adventure Time Battle
There
Party.
we go.
No, what?
Oh,
What did you
don't
just
even
do?
care.
We can actually go back
Super
to our,
down.
We can go back to our
Yay.
desks and play that.
That's true. We
Okay.
could just play that at work. It's just in a browser.
Okay, let's go do that.
We
Alright.
almost have enough for a 3v3.
We can get Crispy to play.
Perfect.
Done. All right. Thank you guys so much. We will be back next week.
Bye.